I'd like to share a tribute to the heritage of Wycliffe South Africa in my life. I feel enormously privileged to have experienced the blessing of Wycliffe South Africa's unique identity in each of the 5 decades that make up the 50 years we are celebrating this year. The first decade, 1975 to 1985, I think of as a place to probe. In 1982, I attended the probe course that Wycliffe South Africa was offering at Rosebank Bible College in the 1980s. As a 19-year-old student, I was deeply impacted by the people who opened our eyes to all that goes into giving people access to God's Word and the many language communities that are still without a single verse of the Bible in their language. We were given a taste of recording the sounds and syllables of an unwritten language in phonetic script. We learned how to pronounce sounds we'd never heard of. We gained insight into the worldview of different cultures and how that affects the translation of well-known Bible passages. This was the start of a lifelong journey with Wycliffe South Africa for me. The second decade, I think of as a caring home base. My husband and I became Wycliffe South Africa members in 1986. We were assigned to work with the language community in Mozambique. We were amazed at the can-do attitude of the leadership who pulled out all the stops for us to get our training in UK and Portugal, even though we had just missed the starting date. 3 years later, we found ourselves in Maputo. We were visited by the new director of Wycliffe South Africa, who came over to give us practical and moral support before we took the big step with our 2 small children to a remote island in Mozambique. The third decade, 1995 to 2005, I think of as a refreshing oasis. We were in South Africa for the birth of our 3rd son. After years of struggling to learn the language and culture of the islands, we were ready for a break. Wycliffe South Africa had set up a guest house next door to the office. This provided a welcome home base for us while we waited for our baby to arrive. It was also a time of refreshment and much-needed fellowship after years of isolation. We thank God for providing that oasis. The fourth decade, 2005 to 2015, I think of as a place for growth. In 2009, after 20 years in Mozambique, we returned to South Africa and I was asked to lead the Wycliffe South Africa team, which I was privileged to do until 2021. This period was marked by a series of Macedonian calls coming from different corners of Southern Africa. God blessed our small team with a vibrant sense of expectancy, a deep dependency on God, a devoted band of prayer partners, and a board who saw what could be and stepped out in faith to apply our limited resources and capacity to feed the multitudes with God's translated word. The fifth decade, 2015 to 2025, I think of as a lasting legacy of grace. In 2021, I handed over the baton of leadership, and today I continue to experience the joy of being part of the Wycliffe South Africa family. I see the continuation of the same values of prayer and dependency on God, the same can-do attitude to trust God for more than is possible in our own strength, and the same spirit of grace and love. I thank God for the blessing of this heritage in my life.